Welcome, welcome. I think we have actually started, and I think if all my little signals are right, you guys, I do this enough, you'd think I'd know it, and I still get nervous. So I'm hoping that, I'll just hang out a minute and just make sure that you all can hear, and just let me know when you can. Oh my gosh. Hi, everyone. We got all kinds. Hello, you all. Thanks so much for being here. Illinois, Virginia, Texas, Kentucky, Virginia, New Zealand. Hi, Leslie. Florida is still hot. I know we had I think it was 101 today in Dallas, but today's the last day. We're here and see you. We hear you. Yay. Oh my goodness. California. All right. All right. Well, very, very good. We've got some great questions today. I think we always have great questions, but it leads us into some discussions that are really fun discussions. Today we started Spiffy, just for those of you who don't know, or you're not paying attention, I'm sure, but it was just so much fun. I just absolutely love talking patterns. I mean, I think that's just ridiculous. I just love talking. Yeah, our house was hunters. I just love talking patterns. I love the workings of them. They're just so, I know you're going to hate me for saying this, but they're so simple. They're just so simple. The only thing I really believe that blocks us is the knowledge we've learned in the past. And it's that knowledge that we've learned in the past that just messes with our heads. So it's no different than anything else. We learn something, we think it's to be true, and we carry that forward for so many of our adult years. But we're going to try tonight. I spend a good amount of time doing pictures, and obviously the reason I do pictures is so that you can see what's not accurate and you can really understand it to not be true. Yeah, it is hot. It's definitely a little warm here, but hey, it's we always say it's what keeps the northerners up the north, keeps them from coming down here. If it was great weather, we'd have everybody here, so we can't do that. Okay, let's get started. And again, I want to have time to answer questions. Anything that's regarding these questions that we're asking, we'll go ahead and address. So we're going to start with this first picture. And this oh, that's not the right one. You guys, what am I doing here? Oh, yeah, it is too. I'm sorry. It is. It is. So this first picture, her question is, she has 4,000 swing dress. It's a knit. Now you're going to have to kind of listen to this carefully to make sure you're following. She has 4,000 swing dress. It's a knit. Now, 4,000 swing dress is actually now the base of 4,009 because we had two patterns that were, one was a swing dress and one was a swing dress with an overlay. I combined them. So the base of the swing dress, which was pattern number 4,000, is now 4,009. And you can see that little black underlay right there, or whatever that is, the black base. That little black base is the swing dress. The overlay, of course, is overlay. This is a lovely pattern. I just love this pattern. But anyway, so she has the base. She has the old pattern, the older pattern, which is 4,000. It is a knit base. And then she bought the fashion sleeve alternatives. Now that's the pattern in the middle. Those are woven sleeve alternatives, pattern number 400. Those are on the Fit to Stitch site. Those are woven sleeves. Knit dress, woven sleeve. Got that? Now, if you flip that to the back, she wants to take that bell sleeve, the bell cuffed sleeve, which is the one I put the arrow on, and she wants to put that woven sleeve onto her knit dress. And the question is that at all possible? Of course. Now, keep in mind, when you have this pattern, the sleeve patterns, you have every size. You have 1 through 4 and 5 through 8W. So you have all of those sizes. So step 1 is taking your knit sleeve, any knit sleeve, it doesn't matter which one it is, but one you like, and measuring the circumference. Got that? You measure the circumference. At the cap line, you would measure the circumference. Then you take that and you go into the woven size, and you just pick the woven size that matches your knit circumference. Every sleeve is married to an armhole. So you're going to take the armhole that goes with that sleeve size that you pick out. Now that sleeve size, because it's going to be much smaller than what you typically use for a woven sleeve, because you're now using a knit version. So let's say you use a 4 woven sleeve, you'll probably use like a 1 or a 2 size. If you use a size 1 or 2, you'll have to grade that down, and we've got all kinds of videos on how to grade down. It's very, very simple to do. Do not be afraid of that. I showed a lady the other day how to grade down, and she says, is that all it is? The word itself is, is more difficult than the act. Okay, so does that make sense? We've got a knit dress. We've got a woven sleeve. I need to know the circumference of the knit sleeve that I like. I've got to use that circumference, the cap line, to find the woven sleeve that will match it, and then I simply take the armhole and the sleeve, those 2 sizes go together. Now they're knit, they're not woven, and I put it onto the 4009. Okay, I'm hopeful that when you hear that, you're like, oh, yeah, how come I didn't think of that? Okay, so that's the goal. If you're not understanding, ask questions about it, but it's just pretty simple. Okay, so we had a webcast, or I don't know, they're all called different names. We had a, I think it's a What Should I Sew? It was on the magic of 1. And I used the tank top as an example, and I wanted to show how powerful that tank top is. So I got some responses from that tank top, or from the fit of that tank top, and I'm going to show those now. All right, so let's look at this tank top, and we're talking about fit here, because we've been talking tank top and fit all day. It's kind of like, oh wow, I just did this all day today. So let me do this for you all. She makes up the size that she thinks is going to go around her bust the best it does. When you're doing a tank top, there's no difference between a knit and a woven. That's to say you could use a negative ease, and then you would use a smaller size for knit, but all in all, there's no sleeve, therefore there's no need to really adjust the size. So she picked the size for her bust that she thought would be the best size, and lo and behold, we're going to start from the left and work across to the right. When she puts that on, you can see it's too wide for her shoulders. The middle picture, when she puts it on where she wants it to be on her shoulders, you see this cowl neck that develops, but she doesn't want a cowl neck. So what I told her to do is pinch up at center front. And the pinch has to be right at center front. It has to be very even, but you can see there that what the pinch does is it narrows the shoulders in. Most likely, I'm not going to assume it, but most likely it happens at center back also. Not always, but most likely. So she's got her pinch. Okay, then we're going to go to the next one. She now sews the pinch, and she says, hey man, this looks really good. Look at that, the shoulders look good, there's no gapping anymore. But she says, what do I do? How do I get that dart out of the front? I don't want a dart in the front. And then the middle picture, I'm going to show you, she's got her sleeve, she's got armhole, I'm sorry, there's no sleeve, it's a tank top. But you see a little bit of gapping there. So we're going to clean that up too. And these changes, what I've done is I've drawn them onto this picture on the right. And what that is you can see the red line is the dart, except you don't stop it at the bust. You take it all the way down to the bottom, all the way down. It changes the center front angle without sacrificing any circumference at the side. If the circumference was extra, you didn't need it. So the red line now becomes a fold line, and you shift the pattern just slightly. You put it on the center fold, and voila, your problem is fixed. That's it. The shoulder angle, you can see I took it out of the armhole itself, tapered to nothing. There is no sleeve. There is no changes. There's no changes to be made. There's no reason to make any additional changes. So you simply leave it like it is, and you are good to go. Is that just fun and easy? All right, fun and easy. Very simple to do. However, another question came in regarding the tank top, and it said she couldn't figure out how you do that front line and put it on the fold. You guys, just do it. I promise it works. Just do it. Conceptually, she's just having a hard time seeing it all the way through. But there is a term called empirical knowledge, and empirical knowledge is gained when you actually literally go through the process. It's not just hearing knowledge. It's knowledge that you gain from doing a task. And empirical knowledge is always what we're looking for. And we always know that when we do empirical knowledge, we actually take it to the next level. We have learned on a different level what it is, and therefore you no longer have to think it through. You've done it and you've gained that knowledge. So I'm going to encourage you to do empirical knowledge, because empirical knowledge will help you tremendously. So do it. Do it, do it, do it. Okay? And I drew out those concepts just so you could see them. Okay, this next one has to do with a sleeve. And it's a two-piece sleeve in particular. And I also found a picture so that you guys could see this, and you're going to have to follow closely with me. When you have a two-piece sleeve, this, you know, I get a lot of emails, and I've answered this kind of several times, but when you have a one-piece sleeve will always have a twist to it. A twist. A one-piece sleeve is usually used for knits, for blouses. They are lightweight. The twist is not really noticeable or offensive. However, when you get into jackets that are more thicker fabric, they need more direction. And with that additional direction, we have a two-piece sleeve. And what happens with a two-piece sleeve is it actually changes directions at the elbow. The goal, when I make a pattern, I hypothetically make up how much I think it changes. But as you all know, I could be wrong, and your arm could be more bent than the pattern. So we take that little dart, and you notice in both of her upper sleeve and undersleeve, the dart is at the front of the sleeve and goes to nothing to the back of the sleeve. And as you would guess, this is a depth issue. It's a dart. It changes the angle of the sleeve. If you guys have any questions, stop me and be sure you ask those questions. If not, I'll just keep going. Okay, so now you've made this correction. The sleeve is bent the same amount as your arm, therefore it hangs straight. However, the grain that goes from the top to the bottom of the sleeve where you've made this bend doesn't match anymore. And if you look really closely at the pattern pieces there, you can see that my drawn grain line doesn't correspond to the grain line that's underneath. So you follow the lead of the grain line that's in the upper part of the sleeve. The bottom of the sleeve is going to be off grain, period, end of story. Again, on the undersleeve, you follow the grain that goes with the undersleeve. The bottom half, the bottom part below the elbow is going to be off grain. So what I did is I found a pleated jacket, not pleated, I'm sorry, a plaid jacket that would illustrate this point, but you're going to have to look very close. The first thing I want you to look at is the hem. And if you notice where there's darting built into that garment, the lines of the plaid that run along the bottom of the plaid are not straight. And I put in two little arrows across the bottom so you could see where the variance happens. You can't get the bottom to be completely straight. The next thing I showed you is where the sleeve. Notice it's not the plaid that's going up and down, it's the plaid that's running vertical, the circumference plaid. Notice that box or that plaid is getting smaller as it comes down to the bottom of the sleeve, because the bottom of the sleeve cannot be on grain. It cannot be straight on grain. And all you have to do is go into your husband's closet or your partner's, whoever has a plaid jacket, and look at the bottom of the sleeve, and you will see it. And you will say, aha, why did I not ever notice that? It's something about awareness. Once we see it, it's like, oh my gosh, that couldn't have possibly happened, but it is. And it is fact, and it is true, and it's a very cool discovery, okay? Because you'll get out of this whole notion that plaids are straight and the body is straight. It is not. And on this new PBS series we just filmed, because we had Oscar de la Renta and we had Christian Dior, we had the actual garments there, I got to show you some tricks of what they've done to make it appear to be straight when they're not. It is really just fun. It's fun to see those garments. It's fun to study them. It's a privilege to study them and be able to look at them. Okay, this next one does not have a my hair is sticking up funny, sorry about that. Does not have a photo. So I'm going to answer this question. It says, I have my cardstock ready to cut my templates. The templates meaning the armhole and the sleeve. Watching the Fit to Stitch episode, we did an episode on Fit to Stitch on template sewing. We put it up for a while. It was to promote sale of 1300 series. We took it down because we wanted you to buy the series. And so we just it was like a little teaser where we gave it to you just for a short time. Okay, it was a great reminder to make things easier. It does make things easier. Those templates are formed. They're not fit, their style, they're predetermined, and you can just kind of plug and play. That was the goal. Do you recommend creating a sleeve cap template to match the armhole template for the knit? No, you just use the sleeve. I mean, it's your template world. You can do whatever you want to do in that world, but you just have your sleeve. Your sleeves are your template. I don't package my sleeves away with the pattern. I leave my sleeves out. So I have my knit sleeve, my blouse sleeve, you just have them out. I don't think you need a template. You just need the sleeve. So you can do whatever you want. If it feels more comfortable to you, that cap line, do that. If I felt like it was an advantage, I would have done that for you. And clearly knows we could have sold a lot of those, but you already have the template. It's called the sleeve itself. Just use the sleeve and then use the armhole template that goes with that particular sleeve. Now again, that's my opinion. I think it's IMO is the abbreviation, and certainly you can, if it helps you to have a template, then by all means, you can do that. But I think your template is your sleeve. Okay. Then this last one, we don't have very many tonight. Anyway, this last one, I love this. So this refers back to the rule of 7. We were talking about dressing and how many points, when you're talking a stylist, how many points should we have in our dressing? We gave points for tops and bottoms and light colors and dark colors. So I love this picture. And obviously you're going to see why I couldn't wipe out her face. She wanted to know if glasses are points. And my response, I actually responded to her, and then I put this into Q&A. But the response is it depends on how bright they are. If they were now, so you notice that these glasses on the right and the left are actually two different glasses. They're not the same. They are different colors. But because her hair has a little bit of red tint to it, you don't really notice. They're not bright red. They are more of an auburn. And so, no, accessories are a point. These would be her accessory. So they are a point in regards that they are an accessory. So the answer is yes, but they're no more than one. It doesn't matter really how bright they are. If they're sunglasses, they're still 1 point. So don't add extra because of that. Just keep them as they are. And that is a beautiful woman. I love her glasses. And that is a point for her. Okay? My glasses that I have on, they're like little reading glasses. I wouldn't even count these as a point. They're just not enough. But when they're larger and they're more, and they're not part of my garment. They only come out when I need to read. The rest of the time I visually see without any problem. So you all just see them as I go back and forth with reading. Okay, so those are our questions for tonight. I'm so excited that we're literally caught up with our Q&As, unless I missed somebody, you guys, which is very possible. I've got 3 files that come into one. It's very possible that I missed. So let me know if you have any questions. We did, I'm going to talk a little bit about just what's going on right now. We have our ruler, our bias ruler. And I had somebody email me a way to cut bias trim. And it's not near as good as this ruler, you guys. The cool thing about this ruler is it has these ends. It has how to align them. It has them aligning perfectly. It has better use out of the fabric. The way this video showed is you rolled this up. You can't do that with every fabric. It's too bulky. It won't be accurate. This is way more accurate than what that is. So just an FYI, be careful of ways, because when I do this, I'm going to illustrate a way to you that is very precise and very clean and very accurate. There are other ways. Obviously, it's your choice to decide which way you're going to do it, which way works the best for you, and what you think is the best. All right, so with the spiffy today, I'm going to give you a couple takeaways that I took away, or that I gleaned, because I'm always looking at, okay, how can I How can I help you? How can I teach you better? How can I help you understand things a little more clearly? And here's my two takeaways. Number one, on our knits, we're making knits too large for the most part. In one, two, three, four different cases, we took knits and we went down in size, and in every case, they loved them. Not only did the person love them, but everybody else in the room went, oh my goodness gracious, that's so much better. So just caution yourselves when it comes to knits, think about going down in size. Even if you're happy with them, think about going down in size. When you go down in size on the bust, you don't have to go down in size on the rest of it. You can go down like in a size in the bust, and you can go out in the hips, because it doesn't have to be tight. There is a hollow underneath our bust, and we want to expose that. We want to separate the bust from the rest of the garment. We don't want to make it look like, I say this all the time, Dolly Parton and a muumuu. We want to separate it out so that it can be as lean looking as possible. Okay, that's my number one takeaway. If you were making knits, unless you're thrilled to death, if you're not sure, go down a size. Go down a size and see what happens. But only in the bust. You can go ahead and, make it wider at the bottom. That's not a problem. Okay, my number two takeaway is with skirts. Those were the two things we did today. You're going to miss the rest of my takeaways because it's going to be on days we don't have Q&As. But during the process today, I was thinking to myself, okay, how could I help you all? So with skirts, there was a takeaway that was the most helpful, I think, is number one, there is no length when it comes to a skirt. When we talk about lengths, we talk about base of the neck to bust, bust to waist. There's no lengths. Skirts hang from the waist, and that's it. There's no length. They just hang from the waist. The circumference is the size you pick out, and then you do depth. And the only thing that you should recommend, that I want to recommend to you, is that the waist controls how they hang. So if the hem is wrong, those old things we used to have that were chalk, and you stood there and you squirted the chalk out so that it gave you a straight hemline, those are worthless. You can keep them for nostalgia, but they're worthless. You don't hem a skirt based on the squareness at the bottom. The waist should make the bottom straight. So if your waist is crooked, the hem will be crooked, and you can't do it out of a plaid, and that's silly. So try really hard to make the waist control the rest of the garment, and then you can simply measure off the bottom to where you should hem it. Okay? All right. I do always overestimate my size, and once I go to a smaller size, I would be like, oh, now that's better. You guys have to do this. And today, and I hope she's not listening, because I hope she doesn't think I'm picking on her, because I'm not. But her muslins were so much larger than she was. I mean, it was like, honestly, another person could get in those muslins. And I said to her, what's going on here mentally? Like, this is not, something's amiss. She had lost a lot of weight. She did not see herself. I mean, literally, if I told you she's making 6s, 5s, W's, and we're putting her in a 2, okay? So you start to see the big discrepancy when she has these on. And I said to her, do you like this? She goes, yeah, they're comfortable. But we want more than comfort. We don't want just comfort. We want to look our best. And when you throw a comforter around us, we're not going to look our best. We can be comfortable and we can look good. We can have them both. I think for many of us, we feel like we have to sacrifice comfort in order to look our best. And I'm here to tell you that is not the case. That is not the case. We don't need to do that. So, again, I hope she's not listening, because I don't want her to feel less than or talked about. It was just to really hit home to me, you guys, that often we are not aware of how good we look. And so if you are making knits, and if you have extra and can afford to go down in size. Try it. It's only a front and a back. There's only 2 pieces. Y'all can do this. Do the front and the back. Go down in size, put it on. It does change with the knits. I think that is the hardest thing about knits, is you can't always make one size for every knit. You do have to change. But the more you do it, the more you're going to be comfortable with doing this, and the easier it's going to be. Okay? Okay. Now, it does help to be in a class, because obviously today we had like a whole bunch of people, and we had, hey, does anybody have this size? And does anybody have this size? And we were able to just throw them across the room and say, hey, let's try this size on you. And so it wasn't a lot of effort or work on anybody's part to be able to tell what the right size was. But those are my 2 takeaways. All right. Hopefully those will help all of you. And for the ladies that are in the workshop today, they just are amazing women. They're absolutely amazing women, and it's an honor and privilege to work with them. Okay, what can I help you all with? Any questions? It's 8:30. I always wanted these to be short and concise so that you can watch them, you can absorb everything, and every word that's being said, it'll just help you. Repeat after me, okay? All right, let me know. Anything else you want to ask? It is hot. I think as I read across we had fabric that was being picked up yesterday in New York, coming to Dallas. And the workroom where the warehouse where they're picking the fabric up, he texted me and said, fabric cannot be picked today. It's 105 degrees in New York, no AC, no electricity. The electricity was out in New York. We're shutting down the warehouse. We can't wait for your truck to come to pick up our fabric. And I responded, oh, that's all I responded. Oh, and he called me like 10 minutes later and he said the truck got there before they closed. They got the fabric. It's on its way. It's like, yay. So these are some, they're just some beautiful fabrics. All right. Is spiffy in person? Yes, spiffy's in person. We do, the spiffy is when you learn to drape, and you learn to drape by draping someone else. And so I'm pair you up. I pair you up to drape. Obviously I'm there to guide you, but I pair you up. On Fit to Stitch is the curvette plus the seam allowance to the silhouette shorty. It is. The silhouette plus is a 3/8 inch wide, so that when you make a curve, like a neckline curve, when you copy the neckline curve, you're always going to copy what it is in ready to wear. You don't add seam allowance to it. But then you can come back with the shorty plus and put the shorty plus on, and bam, there's your exact seam allowance in the same shape as the neck, as the French curve is supposed to be. So the French curve is for the actual curve. The shorty plus is to add that seam allowance back in, and it's just the most accurate, quickest way to do that. So those are those 2 things. They're both on the Fit to Stitch site, and both of those would enter you into the Peggy giveaway. The Peggy giveaway is going on right now. Okay, is spiffy in person? Yes, I answered that. You might not have heard that. Spiffy is in person. Spiffy is in Dallas. Spiffy is in person and in Dallas 1 time a year, and that is at the first week of August. And then Spiffy 2 is the second week of August. You can't go to Spiffy 2 without Spiffy 1. Spiffy 2 is just where we kind of get excited that we know what we're doing, and so we push forward and learn that there's a few more challenges. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun for me because it's easy, and I love the teaching part of all this, you guys. I just love being the teacher part. Okay. All right. So with that, we're going to say, you all know I love you lots. You are the best. I appreciate so much. You just don't know how much I appreciate you. I just don't get a chance to say it. I always complain about, I shouldn't say always. I sometimes complain about the negative, but I got a box of chocolates actually a couple days ago, and it's a crazy thing to think that somebody would mail a box of chocolates in July and August, but they did, and they are melted together, but boy, you can break a piece apart, and they are absolutely delicious. And it was just the sweetest note. It was just kind. It was just kind. So it was, in my mind, it was from all of you. So I just can't say thanks enough. It was wonderful. Did you pick a Silhouette U winner? We'll do that Tuesday. We'll do that Tuesday. I wasn't in the office yesterday or today, so I couldn't do it. But we'll do that Tuesday. We'll announce it Tuesday. All right. Thank you. Keep cool. All of you. Thank you. Keep cool. You are the best. And we will see you Tuesday night. Is our pattern pre-sale is going on. And we will show the new patterns. That's all Tuesday night. The Silhouette U winner will be there.